Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Bacteria Busters. I'm Jaden.
And I'm Johnson. And today we're taking a deep dive into one of the coolest microbes in the world of bioremediation. Say hello to Pseudomonas putida.
If you've never heard of it, don't worry, you're about to. This tiny bacterium might not be famous, but it's doing some serious work when it comes to cleaning up the environment.
And what's wild is that it's naturally found in the environment, usually in soil and fresh water. But scientists have figured out that it has this amazing talent, breaking down toxic stuff that would otherwise hang around and pollute everything.
Yup, and before we get into all the cool things it can do, let's cover the basics. First off, Pseudomonas putida is a gram-negative, rod-shaped aerobic bacterium.
So that means it has a thin cell wall, needs oxygen to grow, and looks kind of like a little capsule under a microscope. Its name, by the way, comes from Greek and Latin roots. Pseudomonas means false unit and putida means neat or trim. Sounds fancy, but really, it just looks smooth and shiny.
That's kind of fitting considering how it helps make things clean. So where do you find this bacterium? Mostly in places like soil, fresh water, and even on plant roots. It's not picky, it just needs oxygen and something to eat.
And what it munches on might surprise you. We're talking about pollutants, things like oil, benzene, toluene, even pesticides, and certain plastics. A lot of bacteria would find those toxic, but Pseudomonas putida, it digests them like a snack.
This is why scientists love it. When there's an oil spill or contaminated soil, they can introduce P. putida to the site. It gets to work by breaking down these nasty chemicals, sometimes even converting them into harmless byproducts like carbon dioxide and water.
And you know what's even more impressive? It does this naturally. No need for magic chemicals or fancy machines. Just the right bacteria in the right place.
Still, conditions matter. Pseudomonas putida works best when there's enough oxygen and the temperature is mild, not too hot or not too cold. And it has a little help from nutrients in the soil. Scientists often mix it into compost or nutrient-rich sludge to help it thrive.
But here is where it gets sci-fi. Scientists have actually genetically engineered P. putida to make it even better. They've modified strains to digest even more complex chemicals and faster too.
Like in some cases, they've trained it to help break down polystyrene. That's right, styrofoam, and that could be a huge breakthrough for plastic pollution.
It's like giving this microbe a PhD in garbage removal.
Exactly. And some researchers have also used synthetic biology to make P. putida more tolerant to harsh conditions, like high acidity or low nutrient environments. That way it can do its job in more challenging places.
So let's talk about real-world impact. How effective is this bacteria really?
Pretty effective. There are tons of studies showing that when conditions are right, Pseudomonas putida can clean up large oil spills, industrial waste sites, and even groundwater contaminated with toxic solvents.
And it's not just limited to labs. This stuff is already being tested in the field. Some companies have even used it in biofilters and wastewater treatment systems.
Of course, like anything in science, there are limits. If the environment is too cold, lacks oxygen, or has too many competing microbes, P. putida might struggle. That's where engineering and environmental control come in.
Right, and there are still ethical questions too, like how much genetic modification is okay, and what happens if we release engineered bacteria into the wild.
Important stuff to think about. But overall, Pseudomonas putida gives us a lot of hope. Instead of just dealing with pollution, we can actually clean it up in a sustainable biological way.
So our final thoughts? This bacterium is a total MVP in bioremediation. It's adaptable, effective, and with a little help from science, it could change the way we deal with pollution.
Agreed, and it's a great example of how nature and technology can work together to protect our planet.
And that wraps up today's episode. If you like learning about Pseudomonas putida, make sure to subscribe and tune in next week. we'll be talking about more microbes that eat radioactive waste. No joke.
You won't want to miss it. Until then, stay curious.